In our second example, we're supposed to find the distance between the points M with the coordinates 1 and 2 and N with the coordinates 5 and 4. What is another way you can ask this question? Pause the video and write it down on the line provided. Maybe you also wrote, find the length of the segment with the endpoints M and N. Remember, distance and length are kind of the same concept. This time we're going to try it with our distance formula, and we're only going to use the graph as a check. So Mn is equal to the square root of something. First we're going to look at our x coordinates. This is x1 and this is x2. So we got 5 minus 1 squared plus distance between our y coordinates (4 minus 2 squared), which will give us the square root of 4 squared plus 2 squared, which is the same as the square root of 16 plus 4, which is the square root of 20. Now the square root of 20 we can't find as easily because 20 is not a perfect square. So we're going to have to simplify this square root. Either you can draw a factor tree and then pick up two numbers that are the same, or you can also think about your list of perfect squares and find out which of your perfect squares goes into 20. And perfect squares are 1 times 1 is 1, 2 times 2 is 4, 3 times 3 is 9, 4 times 4 is 16, 5 times 5 is 25. We don't have to go any further than this because our number we're looking for is only 20. So 25 doesn't go into 20, neither does 16. 9 doesn't either. What about 4? 4 does go into 20, and 20 divided by 4 is 5. So therefore we can rewrite the square root of 20 as the square root of 4 times 5, which is the same as saying the square root of 4 times the square root of 5, and as we know, the square root of 4 is 2, so our segment Mn has the length 2 times the square root of 5. Let's see if doing it the coordinate plane way we get to the same answer. Let's go ahead and plot our points. Since our coordinates are all positive, I'm going to draw my y-axis to the left and my x-axis to the bottom of our given coordinate plane. Then m is going to be 1 to the right, 2 up, and n is going to be 5 to the right and 4 up. This is the segment we're talking about. And this is also C, our hypotenuse of our right triangle. How many steps do we have to go to the right? 4 steps or units. And how many do we have to go up? 2. Then let's use our Pythagorean theorem and see if we get to the same answer. C squared is equal to 4 squared plus 2 squared. C squared is equal to 16 plus 4. C squared is equal to 20. take the square root of that on both sides. C is equal to the square root of 20. And we just did that on the other problem. And therefore we know that C is equal to 2 times the square root of 5. And our answer checks out. Excellent work, guys. Let's continue to our last example. Are the following segments congruent? Explain how you know. What does congruent mean again? Congruent means they have the same length, right? So we are supposed to find the lengths of those two segments. Segment MN has the endpoints M at 0 and -4 and N at 5 and 8. And the segment ST has the endpoints S at -1 and 2 and T at 11 and 7. So we're going to use our distance formula to find the length of these two segments. Mn is equal to the distance along the x-axis, 5 minus 0 squared, plus 8 minus -4 squared. In other words, the square root of 5 squared plus 12 squared, which is the square root of 25 plus 144, the square root of 169. That means Mn is equal to 13. Now let's find the length of our segment ST. ST is equal to the square root of 11 minus -1 squared plus 7 minus 2 squared. In other words, it is equal to the square root of 12 squared plus 5 squared, which is equal to the square root of 144 plus 25. This is square root of 169, and ST is therefore also 13. Very well. So let's explain our answer, reason and argue our answer. And we're going to do it in the shape and form of a logic argument. We found out that Mn is equal to 13 and St is equal to 13, and in both cases we're talking about the length of the segments. Therefore, the length of Mn is equal to the length of St, and that's what it means to be congruent. So our conclusion is, therefore, the segment Mn is congruent, this is what we use as a symbol for congruency, to the segment St. This is a logic argument using information that we found out ourselves and putting it together to form a conclusion. Very good, you guys. Now I want you, for your summary, to describe how the words distance and length can be used to ask the same question in two different ways. Or you can also think about it, how are the words distance and length like each other? Have fun, and I will see you in class.